mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. My guest today is my dear friend, Carla Tardif. And if you don't already know her name, we're going to fix that today. She is a 17-year CEO of the nonprofit Family Reach, which has been quietly doing the dirty work of our fucked up healthcare system for over 30 years. They keep families from going bankrupt while fighting for their lives. Cancer isn't free, lose your house, but it's okay because it's America, right? So anyway, she has made it her business to say, not on my watch, bitch. She is literally a personal friend of mine, powerhouse truth teller, and, just this insanely purpose-driven human being. And she's best friends with John Ratzenberger. I don't even think I know how that started the conversation, but it probably had to do with Carla Tortelli and making fun of her name being Carla. So we talked about burnout, meaning, staying angry, a little bit of Wegmans and Syracuse, because why not? And, grab your drink, buckle up, settle in, gird your loins, and meet the woman whom I admire so tremendously, Carla Tardif. My name is Matthew Zachary. This is Out of Patience. Let's get started. Oh, Carla.
Matthew.
Do you relate to Rhea Perlman?
Do I relate?
She was the only Carla ever on television.
Oh, Carla.
Carla Tortelloni. What was her name?
Yeah.
Tortelli.
Carla
Tortelli, yes.
Well, it's really funny because John Ratzenberger, Cliff Clavin from Cheers, was a client of mine and a dear friend for many years.
Are you kidding me?
So how many times I heard him say, Carla? Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
He was just on the Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson podcast. It was fantastic. I mean, shout out to people. If you don't listen to the Ted Danson, Woody Harrelson podcast and you're an 80s person, you're missing out.
You're missing out. That's me.
What was he like?
Ratsy.
Really?
He's amazing. He's amazing. Clever. He started a foundation called something like Thingamajigs and Gadgets. He just wanted kids using their hands, building. He wanted to get manufacturing back into this country. He's a guy's guy. He's a builder.
Well, he mentioned that. He was a mason and a carpenter. He did all the trade work. Again, we're going to perseverate on the episode for a second because it was so Gen X. He talked about how he tried out for the show and he didn't get a part, but on his way out exiting, he said, do you guys have like a bar know-it-all?
Yes.
And they're like, what is that? Like, it's just a guy who thinks he knows everything. And all right, you're hired.
And did he talk about the person that's wearing the most keys is the one that thinks they know it all?
Yes.
So the first thing he did was load up a key ring or two or three and dangled it from his waist. And that's how Cliffy was born.
I can't pick my favorite kid, but this is like the best intro to an episode of my entire career.
I didn't know we started.
Yeah, that's the best part. Yeah, we're already on the air.
Great.
We're like 2 minutes in.
I'm glad I said all nice things about Ratsy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because clearly he listens to the
Love
show.
him.
Hey, John Ratzenberger.
I'm going to tell him to listen now.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I want an autographed mailbag.
You got it.
Okay, that's the. I'm now. Oh my God!
Are we done?
I'm 6 degrees of separation from John Ratzenberger.
You are.
That's freaking awesome.
Love him.
That's freaking awesome. So I want to start by channeling like my inner nonprofit hat, which I don't wear anymore, which is we really shouldn't have to exist, but we choose this work because we somehow need to exist. How did you square that circle?
Yeah, I think for me, when I talk about, because nobody sets out to do this.
No.
This isn't what you
We
play
like a ballerina
in your
or something
child.
like
yeah,
that.
Exactly. I think NBA player. I'm really tall. Yeah, I think once I lost a dear friend. I went to Syracuse University. My dear friend Pat Kelly played Syracuse football. Then he went into the NFL. He played for the Jets and the Broncos. Another really close friend of ours from Syracuse football, actually, my daughter's godfather, Paul Fraze, had a son with muscular dystrophy. So we all got together and said, oh my God, we got to do something. So we started planning big fundraising events with NFL players, raised a ton of money and put together researchers for muscular dystrophy because this one type had no effort around it. Then Pat Kelly got brain cancer and he was treated at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And he would bring Jets players through when he was in treatment to visit the kids. And he would call me every single time and say, oh my God, these parents are not talking about cancer. They finally get to go home and there's a repo guy in the driveway. Neighbor calls screaming, don't come home, don't come home. Once he called me, there was a single mother sitting on the stoop. She had just left her 2-year-old with brain cancer. She was crying. She didn't have enough money to go get her 4-year-old from daycare. And she just didn't know what she was going to do. So he kept calling me. He's like, do something, Tardif, do something. So
Do you always go by your last name when someone's serious?
But these guys from college call you by your last name. But I just kept saying, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? This can't be a thing.
Right.
And then I went to see him 2 weeks before he passed away. And I was holding his hand. He said, look me in the eye and promise me you're going to fix this.
Oh my God. Wow. No pressure.
I was like, what is, okay.
Yeah.
What is it? And then once I dove in, and I was like, I got to do this. I will confess, it took me 2 years of turning his picture around or off my desk or something. I'm like, stop looking at me, dude. I don't know what the heck to do. I was doing stuff with John Ratzenberger.
That's right.
I had a plan. I was going places. So then I just got to the point where I'm like, I promised, and I got to figure this out. So then I found Family Reach, which is just a family nonprofit. 2 families that got together, lost their children to cancer. This was a labor of love for them. They too saw the financial crisis of cancer 30 years ago, and they started raising money, and they brought the money back to the 2 hospitals where their children were treated, and they did that for 12 years.
I think it speaks to the sort of the silent oral history of patient advocacy. I mean, my listeners, I did this documentary, and we were trying to unearth what sort of civil liberties looked like, what it took to start movements. And I work with a group called the Cancer Hope Network. They were started in 1981 to do like clinical peer-to-peer support. Like no one's ever heard of them.
Right.
And here, this extraordinary story. I mean, I was diagnosed in 96 when this group was started. Like I didn't know about them, but they're trying their best. And like 30 years later, it's the same shit, isn't it?
Yeah. But at least now, I want to go back to something you said in the beginning. How did we get here? I think once I took a step in and opened my eyes and looked around, I couldn't unsee it. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part. I had a choice at that point. Do I want to do this or not? And there were, in the beginning when it was just me, and I was going to the hospital and I was sitting in hospital rooms with families and I was going to their home and I was going to funerals. And at that point we were just pediatric cancers and I was just in it. I was just walking with these families. And I was crying every day, and I'm crying at the dinner table. My husband literally was like, stop. You don't have to do this. And I remember saying to him, I can't unsee it. And so now I just have to figure out how. But to your point, they saw it 30 years ago. I've been doing this for 17 years. So in the past few years, hearing people talk about health equity and social determinants of... I know,
you can't say that word.
Health disparities and social determinants of health. I'm like, well, for God's sakes, welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Now maybe we can get somewhere. So I'm grateful for that.
You're one of the few lifers that I've known of and have known just as long as I've been in the space, because I started stupid cancer in 2007 and I was a Livestrong disciple. And, where were you marinating prior to all of this aha moment stuff besides John Ratzenberger?
Yeah, that's where I was. I had an event planning from Pat Kelly. I worked with Jerry Lewis in LA doing muscular dystrophy stuff.
Wow. The telethons?
Yep.
Oh my God, the telethons.
Yep.
I watch them all the time.
Fill the boots with the fire department. I mean, grassroots fundraising.
Yeah.
Because I was a runner and I would do all these road races and I was like, wait, there's charity components. Wait, you can make a living helping people. I was just really drawn to that aspect of a career. So that's what I was doing. And then Pat Kelly and Paul Fraze, they were like, in the NFL, let's do something big. So then I ended up starting a fundraising events planning company that specialized in celebrities and athletes and whatever their mission was. So they had a platform, they had a stage, and I would build the revenue and the messaging and the branding around that. So I did that for about 8 years and then put it all away and jumped into Family Reach. I was a team of one.
Yeah. And now you're not.
No.
By the way, I bumped into some of your colleagues in Chicago. And I forgot to selfie you because I was so busy getting bombarded with my fedora, which is fantastic. But look, I've been espousing the virtues of all these organizations that shouldn't have to exist for years and years and years. I mean, the lifers I mean, technically, I don't wear a nonprofit hat, but a lifer, 17 years is no small number to shy at, staying in the same chair. There's burnout, and like there's nadirs emotionally. And how many times can you watch people die? I get asked that all the time. And where's your go-to place at 3 a.m?
Yeah.
And is it Bullet?
Yeah, I fill my cup with hope. I surround myself with incredible people. I'm a runner. I'm a potter. I finally found outlets where I can...
Like ceramics potter?
Yeah, like
That's awesome.
In my pottery studio in my basement.
Like Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze stuff?
That's it.
Okay.
Every night, me and my husband, we're in it. Yeah, so that's... So I think what I've learned over 17 years is don't give up. Just find a safe space, to calm the mind and to give the emotions a break. And I don't get sad as much anymore as I just am so angry. And it's what we see every day is truly unthinkable. And I have to walk that fine line of telling people what is really going on for so many cancer patients without making them so sad or scared that they turn away, right? So it's that fine line of, we can fix this. I want to give you a little peek at what's happening and then just dive into solutions on how we can fix it.
You ever think to yourself, if I don't do it, it won't get done?
Yeah. From 17 years, that's why I'm still here. Yeah.
So my hot take has always been that the American healthcare system isn't broken. And that what I learned when I did my documentary is that it was manufactured intentionally in the 1970s for the HMO Act, where they decided, let's just privatize everything. And immediately the Gordon Geckos of the world said, we can make money off people being sick and decide who lives or dies. And here we are, 50 years later, plus, and it's the same damn system. The challenge is, of course, this dopamine of the people you can help, but you're constantly like all the people who don't know I exist, all the people who, it's absolutely devastating, but the system can't be shamed. Can you point to something that gives you hope?
Yeah.
That this is not an endless treadmill?
Yes. Financial, and we're getting there. 17 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would tell people what I do, and they were very confused. What do you mean you step in with housing, food, transportation, utilities for cancer patients? Don't they have insurance? Doesn't the hospital do that? What do you mean? It was very confusing. It's not confusing anymore. And what people need to understand is that people get cancer. People with jobs, who now the job is on hold. Now the money's on hold. People with kids, busy lives, bills that come in every month. It's math. The formula so quickly turns around when you're diagnosed with cancer and can't work. Or if you're not the one with cancer, you're now the caretaker, so work is interrupted. So people just are starting to understand that. I don't know why that took so long. But now that you know it, and now that you know that if you don't have food on the table for your family or a roof over your head for your family, cancer takes a back seat. It's this whole, I have cancer, what do I have to do? Okay, but first, how do I live and how do I protect my family? Then I can think about cancer. And so that raising awareness around the financial health of cancer, wiping out the shame and the fear, patients that come to us, and we help about 50,000 cancer patients a year, many, many, many of them are already in crisis. I have got to hit everybody early on to say, this is what cancer does to you when you're diagnosed. Call us. We're going to give you all the safety nets you need. It doesn't have to be this way. There are so many resources. There are so many programs. Let's get you set up. You get a medical care team, and now you're going to get a financial care team. That is going to increase your chances of surviving cancer.
I remember when I first found Livestrong by accident through some peers that found me in the ether of sorrow in the 1990s.
You're hard to miss.
Well, back then I was, wasn't me back then. I was just like a shadow of a shell of a 20-something trying to get by because he was told he'd be dead in 5 years kind of thing. And I worked in the advertising industry during that entire time. So I really understood brand and communications and strategy. And when Livestrong came around, again, let's take the Lance out of this for a second. The brand really spoke to me because it was one of the first national seminal sort of zeitgeist, almost pop culture experiences where they were focused on who you were and not what you had. And they used a word that's stuck in my head, renting space all these years, the practical issues of having cancer. That had never been spoken before. I mean, the word survivorship was kind of invented in 1996, but that was nebulous and nerdy and academic and policy-based. But he's like, it's more than just what's wrong with your body. It affects everything in your life. And what do you mean? My question, is it fair to expect people that haven't had cancer to truly understand that?
Is it fair? I don't know if it's fair, but I'm going to keep trying because, as you were saying, I think what was so revolutionary about that for you was, you recognize me as a person, not as cancer. Mm-hmm. So when you think of, and everybody knows, everyone has been touched by cancer.
Right.
So think about it. I guess that's what I'm asking people to do is think about it. A, what would you do if you had to stop working and care for someone? Or B, what do the people around you that have cancer, how are they managing? And there's you've heard it. It's like the lasagna. It's like, I don't need another lasagna.
Yeah.
What I need is
green bean casserole.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't have heat. In last December, we had a woman in Boston. It's cold in Boston. In December, a single mother of 4 young children, and she had stage 4 ovarian cancer. She called Family Reach asking for money for a tent. She had been evicted and needed someplace to go where she could stay near the hospital. This is this is the human experience of cancer for so many people.
And this is America.
And this is Boston.
Yeah.
You talk about Dana-Farber, MJ, the greatest cancer healthcare system in the world. That's great for those that can actually get there and afford their basic needs on top of cancer care.
So my favorite, and that's a terrible way to say it, horror story that you've told me is when the woman split the formula. Can you tell that story?
That one's
it's like beyond heartbreak.
I know, it still brings me to my knees. A single mother of 3, her infant had leukemia, which is very curable, high cure rate, but this little girl was not getting better. And the doctor actually made a house call to her house and drove an hour and a half through 2 hours, whatever, far away, and showed up at her house and learned that this mom was feeding all 3 of her children the prescription formula that was meant only for her infant with leukemia. And she just said, it's the only food I have. So the child wasn't getting better and her other children were getting sick. So, and then you bring in someone like Family Reach. When I say this is fixable, give me your zip code. Let me show you where the food banks are. Let me get food delivery program. Let me show you where, like that, I can fix that.
Right.
That didn't need to happen. But this woman said, if I told the doctor I can't afford food, there's a good chance my children will be removed from the home.
Right.
So it's very scary. It's shame and fear. If I say something, do I lose my children? Do they stop treating me? Do they, so that is ground zero for me in health disparities, is to let everyone know that there are programs, there is help, and everyone has access to it. Do it early.
Right, but in the spirit of we shouldn't have to exist, in whose interest would it be that this didn't have to happen? Because in my mind, and I'm no health economist, but if patients are able to stay on treatment and stay functional and maintain some level of economic stability, it's going to save the whole system tons of money. Mm-hmm. And ideally, they'll have a better outcome and go back to being a tax-paying American, no?
Yes. We've just launched a research roadmap to prove that because everyone says, where's the data?
Right.
So now I'm working.
Need damn
data.
I
know that. But for 17 years, I've been trying to do this without the data.
Right.
I'm sitting on 17 years of data. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to get you your data and I'm going to break it out into clinical trials. I'm going to show you. I mean, clinical trials is a whole nother conversation. That's advancing science. But how many clinical trials are delayed or don't even happen because of patient recruitment and participation? And what percentage of that is because of basic needs and financial barriers? So now Family Reach has a clinical trials access program where a patient that has been accepted to a clinical trial, we are now bake us into that clinical trial. So you don't have to ask for help. You don't have to say, I can't do this clinical trial because of basic needs or financial resources. We're going to bake it in. We're going to get you on that trial, and we're going to keep you on that trial. We're going to save your life, to your point, economic benefit for the hospital, and help advance science because we cover transportation and utilities.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about Syracuse and Wegmans as a bit of a sorbet aperitif in between the meal. Okay?
Sure.
We'll be right back. Sometimes you just got to cut the horror with a little comedy here and there.
Good.
And I knew you went to Syracuse because I know you and I stalk you and everything like that.
Great.
But I went to Binghamton. So we have Southern tier blood in us.
Okay.
Were you raised up there?
No, Boston. I'm Carla
Okay.
from Arlington.
Okay, so I was downstate New York, and I didn't know there was an upstate New York. Did you know there was an upstate New York from Boston?
I think I did, Matthew.
I mean, it's more of a right angle trajectory from Boston to New York. But
Right.
like, oh my God, there's things up here, and they say Matthew and say Pop, right? But I
In my
went,
own state.
But anytime I know anyone that had anything to do with upstate New York, I have to go to Wegmans. They're
Yep.
not a sponsor. I wish they were.
Okay.
But it changed my life because it was part of my orientation. They didn't have Wegmans in Boston.
No. Do
So-
they now?
I think they're everywhere
I
now.
heard- I don't know.
It's the best use of the word metastasize.
Yeah.
Having Wegmans everywhere.
Okay, good. That's great.
So I just have to. Did you have I had like a Gestalt moment, like this is what supermarkets can really be.
This is, yeah. But why? That was how long ago? I've been out of college for a minute, and I still don't see them around here.
No. Actually, there's one here in the city. They opened one on like West 8th Street by
Oh.
Cooper Union.
Okay.
And it's like hyper bougie. Of course, Manhattan.
They don't have them in Boston.
No. But the ones like still upstate are still like very organic and
Yeah.
very like Finger
The big
Lakes. And
barrels
the big,
of,
yeah. The
peanuts.
big cheese wheels
Yeah,
and the peanut
exactly.
butter machines and everything. All right. He's fucking talking about Wegmans again. Come on, Matt.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
either that or get the tissues. So we can talk about
Yeah.
Wegmans.
I read somewhere, and I just love your brutal honesty. You really have no fucks to give. That sometimes family reaches the only adult in the room. Can we speak to the utter disdain for human dignity when you sit down with other companies and we shouldn't have to exist? You need to do something. Are they aware they need to? Are they just not aware they need to do something?
Is it too hard for them to hear? You know this about me. I was on a panel once at an organization. I was talking about what I did. I was removed from the panel and escorted to the elevator and asked to leave.
What did you say specifically?
I said, we pay basic need bills so that patients can stay on treatment. And there was a lot of concern about coercion or, just is this legal? Now, this was 6-8 years ago when I was part of the Biden Cancer Moonshot, and I was talking about what we do. And people are like, you scare us. You
Oh my
scare
God.
us. So that was the impetus for me to say, okay, A, I scare people so they're not going to get behind me. But B, I'm not going to solve this problem by just paying bills. There's 2 million new cancer diagnoses each year. 1 out of 3 cannot afford their basic needs. There's no way I can pay enough car, gas, food, rent to solve for this problem. So from that point, 6 years ago, we really expanded to all ages, all cancers, and really started leaning into, here's what you need to know, the education. Like, making the conversation around finances and cancer normal. No shame, no fear. This is math, and we need to talk about it. Now, getting the healthcare system to talk about it has been an uphill battle, but I think we're getting closer. I'll have people say to me, "Oh, we do social determinants of health screening." I'm like, "That's great. It's a start, but A, are they being honest with you? Because there's a lot of fear. B, are you just doing it at the beginning? Because they have no idea. They have no idea how much work they're going to lose, how much money, what it's going to cost. So
Right.
that screening has to happen every 3 months to stay on top of it. So really leaned into education, normalizing the conversation, and then resource navigation, navigating people, caregivers, patients, healthcare providers to the basic need resources that are right there in their zip code. To say, look, there are food banks and there are food delivery programs and there are ride shares and it's there. Utility companies have hardship programs. They're hard to find, and when you're in crisis, you're not, it's harder to find. But we can plug you into basic needs early on, and we do emergency financial assistance. But leaning into those 2 pillars to help avoid crisis, I kind of call it my 411.
Yeah.
Educate you and tell you what's in your own backyard, and then the 911 for those that I missed and are in crisis, are living in a tent, are feeding their children prescription formulas. But I'm never going to solve the problem that way.
Well, it also speaks to what I would call the intervention you didn't know you needed. Because I always talk about, like, you're entering the shit happens store. It's like a dead J.C. Penney in the mall in 1974. All the stores are closed. There's a directory. There's no one to say where to go. And, like, You're expected to just happen to know things you never thought you would need.
Right.
And who's there on day one? One of the things that really bothered me about Livestrong, and I've been very vocal about this, was, and I think they just kind of did it because it was a good brand. Their manifesto basically said that we kick in the day you're diagnosed. Like, no, you don't. Diarrhea kicks in the day you're diagnosed. Seriously. So I always said, like, how are patients, like, in this J.C. Penney from 1974 supposed to know? Who tells them and when? That hopefully isn't Google.
So glad you asked that question. Family Reach has 1,500 hospital partners across the country. So that's probably 4,000, 5,000 oncology social workers that have access to my team and our resources. A year ago, April, we built the Financial Resource Center. It's on the Family Reach website. And we're about to rebuild a website, but you can still go to it. Go to the Family Reach website, click Find Help, Get Help. Now you're in the Financial Resource Center. So our education pillar, our resource navigation pillar, and you can see which financial assistance funds we have open. It's all outward facing now because I had hundreds of patients waiting in a queue to talk to one of my navigators. I did that because 1,500 hospitals, more patients came to us through our website than through 1,500 hospitals.
Wow.
Because of what you're saying, who's talking about it and how do they find about it? So they're Googling, they're doing it. I can see the back-end analytics on this Financial Resource Center. I can see by zip code who is coming to the site. I can see what hour. I searched single mother, breast cancer, food. I could see 232 women on the website between 2 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning looking for food. So this platform, this hub, is driving my strategy on where I need to go with what intervention. It's also giving me that data I need to go to hospitals to say, you have a problem. And I can solve it and make us part of the healthcare system. But that's a different conversation.
So one of the things I look back as like a good problem that actually got solved a little bit was that helping patients know shit exists is now a reimbursable. That navigation under X circumstances, like with the Academy of Oncology Nurse Navigators, the data, it shouldn't have taken 15 years to prove the obvious. That if you have like professional trained, whatever the hell the algorithm is inside the human brain, navigation, what we expect? Less bankruptcy, better financial management, better health outcomes, better, just everything is better, and everyone saves money, right? Are you in that sandbox anywhere?
Well, they can navigate to Family Reach, because Family Reach is the only national nonprofit solely focused on basic needs in cancer. There's others that have a pillar or an arm of it, but that is our sole. So these hospitals navigate to us, but we are not, we don't have reimbursable, we're not in that sandbox, no.
Okay.
But we are an asset to those who are.
Right. So by having these navigators aware of referring to you, they themselves are supporting the very reimbursable existence that helps patients have a way less shitty time.
That's what I meant to say. Well said.
I'm hired.
Oh, you would be fierce. Get you out there talking about this.
I feel like, throw me on stage. It'll be really dangerous. I could be the opposite. I will be happily kicked out.
I'll say he didn't say it. I mean, I didn't say it. He did.
I will be happily kicked out of these meetings because I will just stir the pot happily. This kind of also goes back to the, like what frustrated me is like, why is young adult cancer so special? And I said, that's special. It's different. Our ovaries work. It's not like grandma. But the fact that you still have to somehow explain this to people at this point now, have you seen, I mean, this is like give me a good happy ending sort of concept to this stuff. Where are you seeing real adoption and understanding? Well,
like I said to you, I can see the back-end analytics on this website. And I want to tell you that I have not announced this yet. I just put it on. I put the Financial Resource Center on my website, but I have yet to tell anybody about it. But I just put it on there. Again, the back-end analytics. There are 142,000 interactions cancer patients looking for basic needs. And I haven't told anybody about it yet. So
that's a very, very unfortunately healthy number.
What I'm like, is that exciting or absolutely petrifying?
Yeah.
So I was going to launch it, but now I'm thinking I have to be ready to launch this. So now we are building out the need to know pillar. We are changing the navigation to something along the lines of finding your way. I mean, really making it more user friendly and adding a lot more content to it. And in a massive fundraising mode right now to make sure that we have enough emergency financial assistance so that each month I can replenish that pillar with more funds. So what gives me hope is we built it and they came, and I haven't even told anybody about it yet. My North Star is to make the Financial Resource Center, get it in every single hospital. If I can, charge a subscription to it. Small dollars, but that will help fund 1,500 hospitals at $25,000 a year for a subscription. That's $37.5 million coming into Family Reach. That goes right back out to building basic needs for cancer patients. How do I bake it in?
Yeah.
How do we build it into the healthcare system so that it is a standard of care and you do get your medical care team and your financial care team because it's all in one place. And it's okay to talk about because there's something we can do about it.
Yeah. That we shouldn't have to do about it.
I know.
The recurring theme of the show
I
here.
know. I hear you, and I am ready to do something else. So when we solve for this, but I do, of all the social workers that we talk to, over 17 years, why aren't you talking about this? Because there's nothing I can do about it. Mm-hmm. But there is something you can do about it. So healthcare providers need to know we're here and we can solve for this. So do not be afraid to ask. And patients need to know that this is perfectly normal. This is what cancer does. Then we can get somewhere.
Yeah, I've been in mixed conversations over the years about the burden of being the Google for social workers and oncology nurses and nurse navigators. There are so many things that they have to know or they would love to know. And how do you make sure that they're in the right headspace to remember what they need to know in the moment? And if you're creating like this world-class membership concierge model where this is baked into the value they give, what's the, I going to surmise that a social worker would love to know that they can help a person they didn't know they could help because they now know you exist.
Right.
What kind of adoption are you seeing across the industry?
So right now, again, I haven't told them about it yet. So right now, the 141,000 searches on there are people that found it on their own or word of mouth.
So by the time this airs, this will be all over. This is great.
Yeah, but we're ready, even to the point that we're seriously considering an entire Family Reach rebrand. Name change, rebrand. This is who we are.
All right, count me in for that one because
that's right up your alley. We're doing a big event with Matt Damon in October, and I want to be Matt Damon ready because they listen to Matt Damon more than they listen to me. So I'm like, okay, we have until October 6th to get this together. But yeah, it's going to happen in 2025. 17 years. It's going to get real this year.
All right. So you're in the Beacon Theater in New York, and everyone in the audience is a healthcare CEO. What's your opening line?
Financial health matters. It's not just about medicine. You have to consider the people and all of these choices they have to make every day. We have to be part of the healthcare system.
What should a hospital CEO do tomorrow that they're not doing now? Yeah, but take your time. I mean, like literally, take your time. It's a big question, right?
It's a big question, but the answer's so simple. The answer's so simple. The answer literally is fold Family Reach into what you're doing with your patient navigators, your social workers. It's all here. It's literally a piece of the puzzle that has been missing that actually isn't missing. It's just sitting out here on the outside the frame. It's sitting right there, and it's me. Put me in. We're ready to scale. We know how to scale. We've been doing this for 30 years. It works. Put us into the healthcare system and watch survival rates rise. Watch your bottom line rise because they're staying on treatment. They're staying adherent. To your point, it is a win all around. And it is so simple, Matthew.
And you shouldn't need the data to make the case, but now you have to start at the next hill. You push the boulder up to here, and now this is the next hill, right?
But at least people are talking to me now. At least I'm no longer getting escorted to the elevator. At least people understand your zip code determines your health. Your cancer affects your finances, and your finances affects your cancer. People are starting to understand that now.
So how do you balance, like I said, this shouldn't be controversial, but it sounds like there's still this air of boogeyman attached to it.
Yeah, because it's like, that's not health. Like we're doing healthcare. That's whatever. We will solve for the cancer. You help the people. Don't make the patient go to two separate places. Like, let's bake this together and normalize it.
So I've read so many of your articles. You have been very rightfully lauded and brought into the spotlight. You know, we don't do this for glitz or glamour, but you've been in the rooms with so many influential CEOs and companies and pharma and insurance. What is their response to this? And you don't have to throw anyone under the bus. I don't want to make this controversial for you, but you're literally talking to these executives with such pragmatic passion. Are they empathetic at all? Are they capable of empathy?
Keep up the good work. This is really important. Keep up the good work.
Like a pat on the head. That's tragic. Here's a cookie. Oh, my God.
Keep going. This is important.
Oh, my God. All right. Let's end with some optimism. This data, how long is it going to take you to put together?
I know, that's what I'm saying to my data team. Is it ready? They're like, Carla.
Yeah. Well, once you have it,
at the end of this year, I should have enough data to start some real conversations. And having the Financial Resource Center go live will be really important, because the numbers are going to be staggering. I just feel a deep responsibility to, before I go live, to have something for cancer patients, period, for every one of them, because hope is a powerful thing. So to feel hope and go to this website and see we're out of it, or not for you, or this doesn't work, is my biggest fear. So overbuilding this platform, the Financial Resource Center, collecting this data, but I do hope by the end of this year, we will be able to show how basic needs is keeping patients out of the ER, unplanned hospital visits, keeping them on clinical trials. We will have that data by the end of this year.
CancermadeMeBroke.com.
Yeah.
Not a real website, but there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right, so I wrap every show with a bit of an AI round. And I've been doing this since I decided that AI is going to kill us all one day, but it's worth the humor.
Can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, exactly. And I ask my ChatGPT, I feed it all the information I can about you. I talk to it about you and how I know you. And I ask it one question of all my guests. I ask, if you were a Netflix series, who would your top 3 Gen X pop culture soulmates be combined to play you? And ironically, not knowing part of the conversation, you're gonna plot. All right, first one is Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown.
Because she is the original patron saint of give no fucks journalism. She channels Murphy Brown, the original patron saint of give no fucks journalism. You channel her sarcasm, her spine, and ability to scare senators with one eyebrow raise.
Thank you.
You are Clarice Starling from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, my God.
Smart enough to read the subtext, brave enough to walk into the lion's den, and composed enough to outwit people who underestimate you. Your work navigating the institutional rot of healthcare bureaucracy is absolutely pure Clarice Starling. And the third, blow your fucking mind, AI predicted this before you came in the room. You are Diane Chambers.
Oh, come on.
Book smart, idealistic, neurotic in the best way, and constantly trying to bring meaning into a world that serves bar peanuts and calls it nutrition. You've got Diane's depth, romanticism, and whip smart quips, just with more grit and less sherry.
Just as long as everyone knows my name.
It knew we were talking about Cheers.
So funny.
That's crazy.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So, Carla Tardif, CEO of Family Reach, never change. I love you. Everyone, if you know somebody in desperate need, or even in just regular need, because it's pretty much all desperate at this point now,
let's meet them
familyreach.org.
before. Let's meet them before it gets desperate.
Familyreach.org.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you fearlessly putting us out there.
I love seeing you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Take care.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.